tight end involved in the pass game, that's huge. It's just a bigger target and easier to kind of, it's easier to throw it to a big guy when you can kind of put it on his body, and it's just easier to get it to him when they're big like that. He's done a great job. He's big, strong, and he can run, and he can do a lot of really good things.
Great. And my follow-up and final question is, you and Tyre each have your own strengths, obviously, and things you do really well that you bring to the table. And I know you both were working on kind of your capability to run the entire playbook and the entire offense. For you specifically, how would you say that process is coming along? I know we talked, I think, in spring camp a little bit about, your ability to make the right reads and kind of run the entire playbook for the triple option. How would you say that's coming along so far?
Yeah, I think we've done a really good job. I think this summer of really preparing for camp, and then when camp got here, I think we were, I think I said it before, we were, farther ahead than I think I remember. And that's not to say we don't have missed assignments, because we do. But, I think we've done a really good job, everybody in the quarterback room, and really diving into the playbook and really understanding why we call certain plays and why we get in certain formations and all that good stuff, and really just getting on the same page with everybody. And I think we've done a really good job. Everybody's attacked it. And I think we've come a long way in the last few weeks, but, we've got a long way to go.
Thanks, Cade.
Thank you.
Hey, Cade. Ken Mcmillan from the Times-Herald-Record.
How you doing?
Good, Cade. Just give me your assessment of your performance today.
I think I did some good things for sure. We made some big plays, and there's some stuff fundamentally that I'm going to have to get corrected that I know I didn't do perfectly, and that's what we're trying to do is be as perfect as we can. You probably can't achieve it, but I know I got some stuff that I've got to clean up fundamentally, and just go attack that. But I think everybody played pretty well, and I think I did my job today.
So it's small stuff, it's fundamental stuff, right?
From what I remember today, I go back and watch the film and really dive into it. But from what I remember, just in the scrimmage, I think most of it was fundamental. Yes.
How are you a better quarterback than you were a year ago, 2 years ago?
Yeah. Just I understand the offense better. I think I'm faster than I was a year ago. I mean, I each year physically, I had a pretty big injury coming in when I was a freshman, had surgery, and just trying to build back to where I needed to be physically. I think I've done that really well, and Coach Hughes and that whole strength staff has done a great job to help me. But I think I'm just physically better. I'm better. I feel better under center, and what we're trying to do with the offense, and I think that's where I've improved the most, is just the under center game, and really just trying to understand, like I said earlier, understand the offense and really grow in the offense.
I think you understand completely that the quarterback position is physically demanding here at West Point. Has your physical improvements aided you? Do you feel like that'll make you more durable and less injury prone?
I think I've always been, even in high school, I was, I'm kind of a shorter guy, and, love the weight room, and always been a little thicker and just, stronger for, my size. But, I've seen, like you said, it's physically demanding here, and you've got to be in your best physical shape to be able to perform. And I think it definitely helps. The weight room helps. That's one of the most important things we do here. And, I think it's helped. And like I said, just working on getting faster and just being able to, go through a long season is a process.
Joe asked you about Lingenfelter. Can you drop some names on, who did you like seeing today, whether it be a backfield, offensive line, et cetera? Who did well for you guys?
I think the guys up front really had a good day. From what I remember, like I said, I haven't gone back and watched it, but just I think they got really good movement up front, and the scouts on their side did a good job. I thought they played hard, and we've all been through that process. I think those guys attacked it and gave us a good look, and we did a lot of our fundamental stuff today. That's what we wanted to work, and I thought we did a really good job. I thought those guys up front did really well. I thought they created a lot of really good movement, and we ran the ball pretty well today.
2 weeks to go. How is Army at this stage, halfway through?
I think Coach Monken said it best today after the scrimmage. We're closer, but we're not close. We've got a long way to go, and we've got 2 weeks to really attack it and get better. And I think that's the best way to put it. We've gotten closer each and every day, but we still got a long way to go, and we need to come out and attack it next week and get better.
Have you had any favorite moments here in camp?
There's a lot of culture stuff that is awesome here in this program. There's not one. I thought camp was awesome. Like, I love camp. That's just football, and there's not a lot of times here that you just get football. And I thought camp was a highlight for me. Is just being around the brotherhood and being here and building the brotherhood, and you're all together for 10 or 11 days, and it's just football. And I really enjoyed that, and we got closer in camp, and I just think that was been the highlight of my summer.
In case we don't talk to you in the coming 2 weeks here, how optimistic are you for Army this season?
It's the same every year. We win the same way every year, and it's back here on our goal board. Do your job and follow the plan. We have to come out and play fundamentally sound and not turn the ball over. And if we do those things, we're going to be in a lot of football games with, and you can go back and look the last 4 years since I've been here, the amount of one-possession games that we've either won or lost has ultimately decided how our season went. And I think that's the most important part is just, we've got to play our game. We win one way here at Army, and it's being tough and fundamentally sound and doing all the little things right. And if we do those things, I think we can be in a lot of football games this year.
How eager are you for this opener in 2 weeks?
Repeat the question, please. Sorry.
How eager are you for this opener?
I think our team is very eager. I'm excited too. I think everybody's excited. And you do put on this work in and off season, and you get to this moment in the year, and you're 2 weeks away. It's hard. It's easy to get to just start thinking about the game, but we've got a long way to go and several more practices to get better. And I think I'm excited. Everybody's excited, but you got to worry about today and where your feet are, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Thanks, Cade.
Thank you.
Okay, how are you?
How you doing?
We know Army's offense is a run-first offense, right? I just wanted to get your take on how the passing game has kind of gone this preseason and where you think the passing game's at, because it seems like in scrimmages when you guys throw the ball, you're having some success. So.
Yeah, I think it's, since I've followed Army football, it's, we're going to run the football, and that's our offense, and that's how we win. We have to establish a run game, and everybody in college football has to establish a run the game to have a chance to win a game. But I think, we've evolved since I've been here, not just this year, but, it's when you take shots, and since I've followed, like I said, when you take a shot, you have to, usually there's going to be an opportunity to make a play, and you just got to make the play. Like, they're going to be run support, and a lot of people are going to be, keying on the run, like you said, because we run the ball a lot, and, you got to make them pay when you have those opportunities. I think we've done a good job of hitting those plays when they're called, and, Coach Davis and Coach Worley up there, just dialing it up and having good play calls and us executing the play calls. And you just got to hit them when they're there. And I think that's just, that's our pass game and how we have to execute.
More rep in practice that helped that, or is it just having that playmaking genes in you, so to speak, that, when it's time, you got to let it go?
I think it's both for everybody. We've repped a lot of stuff in practice, and it's been good, but we haven't really changed the way we've practiced. It's just being very precise when you practice, and when that stuff comes about, and we have routes on air period or whatever it may be, just being very precise and being able to be able to complete them and do it the right way and try to be perfect. It bleeds into scrimmages and games, and I think that's shown up a little bit. We got to get better at it, but I think we've done a good job.
And Cade, Ken Kreitzer, Canvas Media. You've had tremendous success when you started games, both high school and at West Point. How is it for you when you come in off the bench, special situation after an injury, whatever it is? How is it for you to be prepared for that moment?
You've always got to be prepared. And I think that's part of our culture here is the next man up. Like, a couple years ago when all, COVID and injuries and all that stuff was going on, it was a crazy year. Everybody's just got to be ready, and thank goodness I'd taken the time to be ready enough. They didn't put a lot on my plate, and that's, that thank goodness they didn't, because it may have turned out a little different. But they did a great job of just giving me a select plays I needed to execute. And like I said, 2 years ago, that team just kind of embraced that situation and played really well around me. I didn't really have to do anything crazy. Just execute the offense and get the ball to the right guys. And that's just a testament to the coaching staff of just kind of dumbing it down for me back in those situations. But like going back to your original question, you got to always be ready. And, you know, when your number's called, whoever it may be, you got to be ready to play and perform.
2 weeks from tonight, you'll be in Myrtle Beach to play Coastal Carolina, very good team. What are some of the challenges that defense presents?
They're very well coached. Got a lot of really good players. You know, they're the thing that's when you watch them on film that really stands out is just how well coached they are. They play very hard, you know, and it's going to be a great challenge for us. And they've got really good defense and some big bodies in there. They're going to be flying around, and you know, we're just going to have to go down and do our best and you know, execute.
You're a coach's son, so you know the fine points. What is it that you see in a team that makes them well coached?
I mean, you can see discipline on the field with, you know, steps, fundamentals. You know, I think a lot of people, when they watch us play, you know, they see a well-coached football team because we try to do all the little things right. You know, we don't always succeed, but I think when you turn on film and you see, you know, fundamentals that you know are taught and they're intentional and guys being intentional on the field in games, I think that's a big telling point is, you know, just when you watch and you know guys have been taught to do something a certain way and they're not just kind of freelancing, I think that's a big telltale sign.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, one more. You talked about like watching them on film and how they play fast and they play with a lot of energy. That's basically Army's brand of football too, right? So when you have two teams meet on the field for a first game of the season, I mean, I guess you can't envision what that's going to be like. But when you watch them on tape, do you see some similarities of what you're seeing in practice when ones and ones go on with the energy wise?
Absolutely. You know, comes with a well-coached football team is a good culture and enthusiasm and wanting to play really hard. And you can, you know, you see that when we play and we see that when they play. And, you know, like I said, it's just when you turn the film on and watch them, they're well-coached. They play very hard. They hadn't been so successful for no reason for the last few years. They've done a great job down there, and we just look forward to going down there and playing them. Good.
Hey, Ross,
Good.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Those on Zoom can start.
Okay. Hey, good afternoon, Ajad. How you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. How you doing?
Good. Did you get a lot of reps in today's scrimmage, and how do you think you did overall?
Overall, I think I did pretty well. I think the team did pretty well. It doesn't you can't measure it in my success because it's 11v11 and it's a team sport. So if the team's doing well, then I'm doing well as well.
Good. You know, I know the running back group has a lot of competition this year, a lot of depth, a lot of good things going on. How would you say that's kind of coming along, and you know, what do you guys plan to contribute, you know, in the opener against Coastal Carolina in 2 weeks, both from a, you know, obviously rushing the ball standpoint, but as well as like blocks you can make the spring, Jacoby, and some of those other guys?
I think from the slot pack position group, you can throw any one of us out there, any combination of the two out there between, you could have me and T-Rob, him and T-Rob, Maurice Ballon, and me, you know, Miles Stewart. I think we're all coming along very well, us five. I think we're gelling pretty good, and I think we all bring something different to the table. And with the B-back room, they're building a lot of depth too as well. I think overall we're coming together as an offense, and we're getting better every day. And I think we only can be strong as our weakest link. And if we bring all our weakest links up, then we're going to be a pretty good team this year.
Good. Sounds like you have a lot of depth. And my follow-up and final question for you is, you know, I know about the rule change this year in terms of black and below the waist outside the tackle box. How do you feel like you're adjusting to having to hit people up top all the time? And do you think you'll be ready in 2 weeks to remember that fundamental and make sure you're blocking above the waist when you need to?
Yes, that's something we've definitely been working on in practice. Obviously, knowing the rule change and then having these live scrimmages help. Being able to get a full-speed look. You might not get as fast of a look in practice, but you definitely get more of a full-speed look during the game. So to be able to get that full-speed look and just continue to work our fundamentals in practice and getting a good look from the scouts, I think that we adapted to the rule change very well. And I don't think that it will make a much bigger difference, honestly. I think we're going to still have those big plays on the perimeter with great blocks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hi, John. Ken Mcmillan from the Times-Herald Record.
How you doing, sir?
Good, thank you. To follow on Joe's question, about this blocking thing, is it just a matter of repetition and kind of training the brain that you can't do this, but you have to do this?
Yes, sir. Just repetition, working the fundamentals in practice, and just going through the bases that we continue to do every day. I mean, we go CQC, which is close quarter combat, and it's a blocking circuit as the offense, and we do that a lot of the times wearing either full pads or wearing shoulder pads and helmets for practice. So just continue to work in those fundamentals and blocking up above the waist helps out a lot. No, you're fine.
I know, people have to change, but I mean, if you're used to playing one way, how hard is it to break old habits?
I don't think it's very hard at all. I think as a football player, you need to be very adaptable. You need to be very versatile. And then just getting those rep in practice definitely help.
Hi, John. What's your general impression of the running back core? Is it very similar to last year and years previous, or do you have to almost establish a new identity?
I think overall we kind of maintain that culture. I think we're very deep, though. A lot of versatility, a lot of speed, a lot of athleticism. I think from the slot back room personally, I think we're one of the most versatile groups on the team, if not the versatile groups on the team. We can do it all, run, pass, catch, and block. So, I don't know, the sky's going to be the limit for us as a position group. And then the B-back group, they're going – Jacoby and Tyson and those guys, they're going to lead that B-back group. And we got some young guys up that's going to come up and surprise a lot of people.
I asked Jacoby a couple weeks ago, the fact that Army is such a tremendous running team and you're among the nation leaders every year, how do you guys like that reputation, and how hard is it to maintain?
Well, that's one of our 7 commandments, run the ball and stop the run. So if we're able to continue to run the ball and follow the plan and compete with attitude and effort, I think that we can beat any team, because every week we're going to be playing ourselves. If we beat ourselves, we're not going to win a game. But if we overcome and beat ourselves and don't have foolish penalties or missed assignments, I think we're going to do a great job this year.
But is there a true pride factor when you see the rushing numbers go up into the high 200s, 300s, etc.? Does that give you a kick every week?
I think that's just what we do, and we execute it the best that we do in the country, and we have a great O-line and a great staff that gets us prepared every week to do that. So as long as we can continue to do that, I think everything else will come.
Last thing, can you sort of just drop some names on us on what you liked from certain players today?
Overall, you got Tommy Zatello. He made a great interception. Greg Daniels, freshman slot back, he's on scout. He had a touchdown pass today running Coastal Carolina's offense. I think he did a pretty good job. And then the entire offensive line as a whole, Raheem Murphy had a pretty good day. He had some nice runs. Maurice Ballon, just from the slot back group. Miles Stewart, I think as a collective, we all played well. Tyrell even played well on the carries that he got. And the B-back room, too. I think overall as a team, nobody too specific kind of stood out, but you don't really need nobody too specific to stand out because it's 11v11. So as long as we can stand out together as Army, then we're going to win.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
John? Hi, Ken Kreitzer with Canvas Media. I just going over your first drive today went really well with Tyre at quarterback. Tyrell got the 20-yard run, and then you got an 18-yard runabout, and then ran in for the touchdown. How did it feel to run a good drive in the first time out today?
It felt pretty good. As I stated earlier, we were very enthusiastic. Always playing in Mikey, you got to bring that energy, and you got to bring that swag, and you got to bring that mentality, because we treated today like a game. You would have thought that first drive, and even as throughout the scrimmage, that we were playing against Coastal, and that's kind of what we felt like, and that's in our meetings and our preparations throughout the week. That's kind of how we're treating it, because kickoff is getting closer and closer, and we got to continue to get better and better. That's the only way we're going to win. We walking into a pretty good football team over there, well-coaching staff. They got a great offense, great defense, but we got some guys over here that can play too, and we're going to be ready. We're going to be prepared.
And later on, when Jamel was in the game, a quarterback, you caught a long pass from him. How did that feel to make a big play?
Just my number was called, and Jamel had a great read, and he put the ball in a perfect spot to where I could go out there and get it. And to just be able to move the chains for the team and make a big play, that's always a good feeling when you make a big play and help out your team. that's definitely something that it not only boosts your confidence, but your team sees that and they get fired up. And the more enthusiasm, the more energy, and the more energy, the more focus, and that's how we bring that.
And just thoughts as you have 2 weeks from tonight, you'll be down in Myrtle Beach to play Coastal Carolina. What are your thoughts on preparing for that opener?
I think we're going to continue to get better, 1% each day. Coach said it at the end of the scrimmage. We're getting closer, but we're not nowhere near close enough. I think 2 weeks is definitely going to have to be more than enough time for us to continue to prepare, and we just have to continue to execute. I think if you look at our progress from last Saturday's scrimmage to now to even next week when we have another scrimmage, I think we're going to be more than enough ready, and then we're just going to kick off September 3rd, and y'all going to watch the fireworks. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm good. Yeah, have a good one.
Afternoon, guys.
Afternoon, Coach. Ken Kreitzer, Canvas Media. You got a lot of players out there. You got more of your starters got workouts in today. What was your overall assessment?
Oh, I'm really glad we didn't have to play today, Ken. We're not close to being ready. We're closer than we were 2 weeks ago when we started camp, but we're not close. So many fundamental things we got to get better at, and that's in every phase. And so I'm glad we got 2 more weeks, and we're going to take advantage of every opportunity we've got before we play.
On offense, you had 3 quarterbacks in playing most of the time with Tyre, Cade Ballard, and Jamil Jones. How did you feel they did?
We moved the ball, but they're just when you're playing a scout team that's never played the defense they're lining up in, and they've been in a college football camp for less than 2 weeks, I guess my expectations are pretty high for the offense to move the ball and not get into 4th down situations and not have tackles for loss, and which we did. And so just a lot of things we got to improve on. Those are just fundamental things that need to be better. It all starts with blocking and sustaining blocks. And if we'll do that effectively, then we'll have a successful offense.
How do you feel about the defense? Hayden Hampton seemed to be making a few plays today.
He did. We had a lot of guys that were running around and playing really hard, and I think there's some very capable, good players on our defense. At just times where, in the first drive alone, we had 6 missed tackles, and that's not acceptable. That's my responsibility, and the responsibility of our coaches to make sure that we get ourselves in good position with leverage and use the proper techniques to get guys to the ground. We did better after that. We didn't have another drive where we had that many in one drive, but it's kind of how we started the scrimmage, and that wasn't a great way to start. But we got the ball away a couple of times. I thought Tommy Sotelo made a really nice play on the sideline to pick the ball off. So there were some positives, but we had a play action pass on 3rd down and got behind us and things like that we can't make those errors.
Fabrice Boyne had a sack and a couple of tackles. Andre Carter had a couple of plays. How did you feel they did?
Well, they both play the same position. Andre, obviously, very talented player and had a great year last year, and I'm hopeful he'll have another great year. If he does, we're going to play better defense if he'll play like that. Fabrice, the guy, I really am glad to see him making plays and playing. He's a senior. He's certainly earned his opportunities. He's been a tremendous special teams player for us almost his entire career. He'll continue to do that, but he's got some skills as a defensive player that I think are going to really be able to help us in certain spots and in the things that he can do when he goes in a game. He's a physical kid. He runs really well, so he should be able to help us.
That's why we've been talking about how your interior defense has been developing, maturing this year as a interior lineman and also inside linebackers. How do you feel like you made progress there today?
We're building depth, and guys like though Isaiah's been out a little bit here with an injury, we expect to have him back. There's a guy going into his senior year, Kwabena Bonsu, Chris Frey. There's some guys that have been around the program. Darius Richardson, Nate Smith. Guys moved from outside linebacker, and has he improved? I mean, just really proud of how he's developed as a player. So I'm pleased with those guys up front, how hard they're playing. There's a couple freshmen that are in the mix. They're in the front 7. The linebackers, we're really finding out a lot about those guys as we go through camp. I don't think anything's set in stone with those inside linebackers right now. Calvin Crummy and Peyton Hampton and Leo Lowen, Spencer Jones. There's a handful of guys there that I really think can be good players for us. Cole Mabry moved in there. Adam Cash moved from safety up there. And I'm excited about both of those guys because they can run and change direction. So I think there's a lot to be discovered between now and the time we play on September 3rd with the inside linebacker position.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Ken.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
How you doing, Sal?
Good. What did you
very poor ball security. And so there was a point there in the scrimmage where we had a ball come out, and then we brought another B back in, and he carried it with very poor ball security, so I kicked him out, put another guy in. He carried it with poor ball security. I kicked him out. Another guy came in. I kicked him out. Finally, the last guy came in. I kicked him out. So I went back to the guy that had fumbled it and was coming down the stands from the top of the stadium and said, okay, you got one more try. Everybody else can't carry it. You can't carry it, so we'll start over from the top. And all those guys were freshmen, with the exception of one who's a sophomore. So that's got to improve. But it's good. It's good that happens. They've got to know there's a sense of urgency there. I think when they did run the ball, they ran the ball hard. I continue to be excited about Hayden Reed as a freshman and the way he runs the football. So there's some positives there. Just some improvements got to be made from a fundamental standpoint.
Is there anybody that from the outside of that position that you might, is it too late to like slide somebody into fullback to give them a look, or is there anybody on the roster that would be?
I think we got enough guys there. Of course, with the two veterans, Riley and Buchanan, and then Markel Johnson, who moved from slot to be back. He got hurt earlier this week. I don't think he's going to be out a long time. He was just out today. Lucky Brooks and A.J. Williams have both been hurt. And Jarrell Dixon was out today, or he would have played. He had a emergency in his family that he had to go home for, but he'll be back. Bo Kite moved over there in the spring, about halfway through the spring, from tight end. He had been a linebacker. We tried him outside linebacker, then we moved to tight end, and he's a little more natural in there at B-back. So I think we've got a host of guys there that we can work and develop. I like the depth. Just some of those guys are hurt right now.
One more on the inside linebackers that you were talking about. Has the description or the look of that position evolved a little bit? With Leo playing last year, a little bit, a guy who's a little faster. Now you're looking at Cash there and Mabry.
I think that position, there's a Mike and a Will, and they're a little bit different. Obviously, you look at a guy like Eric Smith who played Mike. He's a lot different than probably Cole Christensen was, and John Radigan and Leo Lowen. So I think just the things that they have to do from each of those positions maybe takes a guy that's a little bit different athletically. But if you think of those guys like John Radigan and Jeremy Timpf and that really ran really well, you'd like to get a guy that's maybe a former safety like Lowen or like Cash that moves a little bit better. And so I think that's probably why we're moving those guys in there, to give them a look at that position.
Those on Zoom, you guys can start.
Good afternoon, Coach Monken, Joe Iacono with GoBlackKnights.com. So we talked a lot about the inside linebacker position and just kind of stepping up there at safety opposite Marquell. We have to replace Cedric Cunningham. So who is kind of stepping up at that position and maybe leading the way going into the last couple of weeks?
Well, certainly having Marquell there, he can play both positions, and we've been trying to dual train him. And if there's anybody that can handle it, I'm sure it's him. On the other side, Quindraylon Hammonds has been playing well. We've been working Bibbins in there, who didn't play at all a year ago, but very athletic guy. DeAndre Tobias, who's injured right now. He was probably at the top of the depth chart before he got injured. But those are the guys that are kind of in the mix there that I think we can count on all those guys.
Absolutely. And, as you get ready for Coastal Carolina here 2 weeks from today, obviously super high-powered offense, put up a lot of points, a lot of yards, great passing game and running game, really talented quarterback. What concerns you the most? And kind of, I know Army always has to stop the run first as kind of a key point, but what are you most concerned with as you get ready to face Coastal?
They're a really good football team. and they're well coached. They play very well together. They complement each other. The offense and defense, special teams really complement each other. You watch them play as a team, and they play good team football. They play really hard. They're a very talented football team, not just the quarterback. There's a lot of guys on that football team that are super, super talented. You don't have a record like they've had over the last 2 years without guys with a whole lot of ability. And I know the league that they're playing in and how athletic that league is. So just tremendous respect for their team, their players, their coaches, and that makes it concerning. That's a team that's, like I said, very talented, very well coached. They operate well together. They know how to win, and they can run the football and stop the run, which I think in today's age gets lost in all the hype of big plays and those kinds of things. Still at the core of football is being able to do those things effectively, and they do them very well. That's why they've only lost 3 games in the last 2 years, which they've been as talked about as a team as anybody in the last 2 years of college football.
Absolutely. And my follow-up and final question, you mentioned there's a lot of things, obviously, that have to improve in the next 2 weeks. You specifically mentioned sustaining blocks and ball security. Anything else at the top of your mind that really needs to improve a lot between now and 2 Saturdays from now?
Missed assignments and foolish penalties, and not losing contain on the quarterback in the passing game, and sustaining blocks up front so we don't have tackles for loss. Not just flat not blocking a guy that's supposed to be blocked. That's a recipe for disaster. And there's a lot of things that probably we didn't do as well today as we're going to need to in 2 weeks. But as I said, that's the good news. We didn't play today, but we don't improve between now and September 3rd. It's going to be ugly, and it'll be them making it ugly for us.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, Jeff. Ken Mcmillan from The Record. Coach, how do things start to change starting tomorrow as far as your preparation?
We won't change our plans for preparation. The things that we do are the things that need to be done for us to be prepared, and it's not everything that we're doing isn't being done poorly. There's a lot of things we're doing really well. Our guys are playing very physical. They're playing really hard, practicing hard. There's absolutely a sense of urgency in terms of our effort. There's just fundamental things that we've got to continue to improve on, and perhaps that's me and our coaching staff doing a better job of emphasizing those fundamentals, demanding that those be done properly, or just our guys amping up their sense of urgency when it comes to over-exaggerating those fundamentals in practice.
Tell us when, in your mind, is it starting to be ideal to set your 1, 2s, and 3s?
Oh, I think we got a 1, 2, and 3 right now. There's probably a couple of positions where there may be some uncertainty. I mean, I think that the B-back position, I think either of those 2 guys at the top could take the first play or not take the first play. They're both really good players. I think the 2 guys at the top of the chart at quarterback are the same. Either one of those guys could be the starting quarterback, and the other one might play the second play of the game. So I think there's positions like that. But for the most part, I think it's starting to sort itself out. And if we had to play today, we'd name a starting 11 on each side, and I think those guys have kind of earned their spot at the top right now.
You just mentioned the quarterbacks. Can you give us your assessment of how they stand right now?
I mean, I think we could play with those top 4 quarterbacks, any one of them. If any one of those guys had to play the game, we'd feel okay about it. I'm not saying there isn't a difference between the first guy that we'd put in and the 4th guy we'd put in, but it's not a grave difference where it's like, oh my gosh, we're going to have to play the next guy or the guy after that. We got 3 seniors at the top, and Bryson Daly, who I think is a really physical, tough runner, throws the ball really well, competitor, great leader. He's got all the intangibles. So feel good about all those guys. I think right now at the top is Tyre and Cade, and either one of those guys we'd be very fine with just saying, hey, you're the quarterback and you got to play the whole game. I think either one of those guys could do that.
Can you just give us a couple words on Tyre and Cade as far as what you've liked with their improvement over last year?
Tyre is throwing the ball better than I've ever seen him throw it, and that's a huge improvement. He threw a couple passes this week in practice that were really impressive. And Cade, on the other side, is running the ball with confidence and running between the tackles as good as I've ever seen him do that. So I think the competition between those two guys is really healthy. They both support each other. There's a tremendous sense of respect between the two of those. And you think back to 2 years ago down in the Alamo Dome, those two guys were really taking their first snaps as college football players, and we played a 1-2 punch against a really talented football team, and they won the game. And I think the bond that was created between those two guys was born that day in that game, and they really leaned on each other and relied on each other and led our football team, and they've kind of been the same ever since. So that competition for the starting spot, I think, has really risen. It's just taken both of their play to a higher level, and that's been encouraging.
Let's just do one more on Zoom.
Sure. You mentioned about starting. The fact that you guys have played so many quarterbacks, whether it be out of talent or need the last couple of years, that must change the dynamic and make them, they understand that it's not going to be just them running the show the whole game. They understand that it's probably going to be multiple quarterbacks. How much easier does it make to coach them and to get them ready?
Well, I don't know if easy would be the word. I think every player on our team that really anticipates his having an opportunity to play in games is going to have a sense of urgency to learn and be the best he can be. I don't know that there's anybody on our team that feels like, I'm going to be the guy, and so we've got to coach them harder or be more demanding of them. There's a sense of loyalty that these guys feel to each other that compels them to be their best. Even guys like Andre Carter, he's as talked about a guy as we have. He led the nation in sacks per game. People are talking about, him being a real high draft pick. That's great for that kid, but it hasn't changed the way he prepares. He's still, if there's a special teams meeting going on and he's not involved in that special team, he's up in Coach Woody's office, or he's trying to grab Coach Luce to watch a little extra film while the special teams meeting is going on to try to improve and get better. That's the humility that he has, and how much he wants to improve and maximize his potential. And I think that those quarterbacks are like that. And there's been seasons where we played one guy. When Ahmad Bradshaw was the quarterback, he played the whole season, and he was the guy, and he was clearly the best quarterback. I think the situation we're in now, we've got multiple quarterbacks that we think can help us, and so, like other positions, because so much is asked of those guys in a run game, and it's a physical position like playing running back, it makes sense to play more than one guy. Why wouldn't we? To keep them fresh and keep them healthy, and if that'll help them get through the season and continue to have all of our quarterbacks healthy, then I think that's wise on our part to do that. If one of those guys separates from the whole pack and he's clearly the best guy and gives us the best chance on every play, and we design the offense around him because of who he is, then so be it. But we're not there with this group of guys, and I think that's a positive for us. We got a lot of guys that we think can play. Thanks, Ken.
Coach, you were obviously doing field goals and punts today. Quinn Morenski had 2 field goals, and Cole Talley was out there. How do you manage your kickers, and also what do you think of the punting today?
So Coach Saturnio, I think, does a remarkable job coaching those guys. His style of coaching, his personality, his temperament is perfect for coaching those guys, and they have just thrived under his leadership. I think all those guys are hitting the ball really well. Cole had the PAT that He just hit it bad. I don't know what happened. I haven't talked to him about it. He'll get it straightened away. But both he and Quinn have been hitting the ball really, really well. I thought the punts were good. I thought Billy Belkey really hit a good punt today, and Matthew Rhodes is long. He's built like Zach Harding. I've got really, really high hopes for him and how he'll perform as a punter for us. I like long bodies like that, long levered guys. So I think the specialists are doing a good job. And none of those guys are Zach Harding, but they don't have to be for us to be a good punt team. I'm more concerned about the protection and the coverage. If we can just get the ball down the field, if it can get down there 35, 40 yards and we can keep them from having any return yards, then I think that's a win for us on the punt team.
There's like that one punt where the ball was dropped, but then the punter ran a couple of steps and got off a pretty good punt.
That was Rhodes. He did a good job. It was just a really showed a lot of poise, because you get in that situation and you think, do I just run this thing? And he just saw the opportunity, dropped it quickly, and got the ball down the field, which is ideal. That's what we'd want. We want him to get the punt off, because the chances of him picking up the ball in that instance and getting a first down is probably a low percentage. So I thought it was a good play.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Ken. Okay, thanks, everybody.
Ken Kreitzer, Canvets Media for Tyre. Tyre, just says, what's your overall assessment of where the team is in preparation for the season this year?
I think Coach hit on it after the scrimmage. I believe that we're taking strides. We're definitely, obviously better than what we came in first day camp, but I think we took a lot of strides this summer in our workouts. But I think we're getting where we need to be for Coastal. But we gotta get better each day. We still got things we gotta work on, whether it's offense, defense, special teams. Every phase has what they need and their special needs and what they need to work on to get better.
How are you with working with this offensive line group? And, it's a lot new players this year, but some who have experience. How is it just coordinating with them, getting the timing down?
It's great. Everybody, they know what they have to do. That's what practice is for. People make mistakes in practice, but we have a great offensive line coach. As you know, Coach Vidi, he's coaching offensive line now. He's a great coach, and he's getting those guys schooled up on what they need to know. I trust them. I trust the slots. I trust the receivers. I trust everybody on the team that they're going to do their job just as much as they trust me for me to do my job. So they have a great coach, Connor Bishop, Connor Finucane. They have great senior leadership in the room. So any of the young guys that need help, they have great leaders in that room. So I trust that they, are doing what they need to do to.
Well, Coach Monken was just saying how much you've improved this year in your passing game. And certainly saw that play you made against Missouri in the bowl game last year. What have you worked on? How do you feel like you're more confident in your passing right now?
I think it's just repetitions, and then also I think it's just me personally. During the summer, I worked out a lot with my receivers, with my slide backs. Still got. Again with the guys to work out.
Just thought about your first week of school here at West Point and being a senior in the Corps. How do you feel about being a senior now at West Point?
It's a great feeling. You know, you don't want to look too far ahead, but it's a great feeling. You have freshmen and plebes that ask you questions, and it feels good to kind of be in the leadership role. As far as football, just being a senior in the team, it's a great sense of responsibility. A lot of the freshmen are looking at you for what right looks like, not just on the team, but just in school and life, really. So just trying to always serve as like that example in how I carry myself, whether it's like how my hair is, shaving, doing the right things, staying out of trouble, just doing the right things in all facets. That's just a greater responsibility that I feel that I need to accomplish.
Ken or Tom?
What was that, sir? Oh, okay.
Guys on Zoom, you guys can start.
Good afternoon, Tyre. Joe Iacono with GoBlackKnights.com. How are you doing this afternoon?
Doing good, sir. How you doing?
Good. How would you assess your overall performance today in scrimmage?
A lot of it was just operational for us. So getting people in and out the huddle, executing the plays. I feel like there's always room for improvement. And when we go back and watch the film, whether it's a certain footwork that I didn't take, or getting in and out the huddle quicker, or getting in and out of a play, I feel like there's always, when we go back and watch the film, that really tells. But I feel like I did pretty good, but it's always room for improvement.
Yeah, something I've noticed the last couple of years, not necessarily with you, but with maybe some of the other quarterbacks, is a lot of times after a penalty where there's the short play clock, it seems like you guys sometimes struggle to get the playoff on time on the short play clock, and you'll go back-to-back penalties. Mm-hmm. Is that something you feel like you and Kate and everybody's been doing a little better job with this summer?
Definitely. I feel like that's everybody involved. I think that's a part of, getting the play in from Coach Davis up top. And I think that's a part of making sure we have the right personnel, making sure everybody's on the same page, making sure everybody is on the right snap count. But we put a lot of emphasis on that during camp. We've been using headsets and things during camp, just making sure communication is good, being put in a lot of different scenarios. So we put a lot of emphasis on that, and I think we'll be fine throughout the year.
Great. And how would you say your health is this preseason?
I feel good. I feel great. I'm ready to go. Like it's not much to be said, but I feel great. I'm ready to go.
That's awesome. And last question for you. You've got 2 weeks till opening day, so probably about eight or nine practices maybe. What's the number one thing Tyler needs to focus on between now and opening day to ready and be 100% to where you need to be against Coastal?
Really leadership. Just making sure everybody is locked in, assignment wise, doing what they need to do, because the coaches and my teammates know what they're gonna get out of me on game day. They know I'm gonna give it my all. They know I'm a fight to the end. So I think it's just leadership, making sure on days where we have long days at school and we have our West Point days, just making sure everybody is still locked in for practice and just being that leader when things get rough. But the team is locked in. Everybody is ready to go. Everybody's counting down the days till Coastal, but we still got to take it day by day. So just really leadership, working on just being an effective leader in the locker room. That's really the biggest thing, because all the football and all the plays, they're going to be there and they're going to come.
Thanks, Tyre.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Tyre, Ken Mcmillan from the Times Herald Record.
How you doing, sir?
Good, thank you. are you a better man, a better player now?
So West Point does a great job of turning you from boy to man. They put you in a lot of situations that make you uncomfortable. I've been through a lot here at West Point personally, so without those trials that I've been through and those setbacks I've been through, I wouldn't be the person I am today. But as far as from a football standpoint, I've had a lot of reps. I've been in a lot of big games, and we faced a lot of adversity at times. So adversity, I feel like it creates a man and it reveals who you are. So I just feel like just being at West Point, just being around adversity 24/7, it just makes you a better man in all facets of your life. Whether it's being a better son, whether it's being a better brother, whether it's being a better teammate. So I think West Point does a great job of molding boys into men.
What's the senior Tyre's advice to the freshman or sophomore Tyre?
Oh man, I think the biggest thing I would say is bigger than you. One thing I developed here early on, it was just like I wanted to play. I'm here to play football. But as you go throughout West Point, you realize like it's bigger than you. Like you're gonna be in charge of the lives of soldiers, right? You got people at home depending on you. You have your future family kind of depending on you to kind of pave the way to success. And then also that bigger than you point is just, I personally, I've been a part of great quarterback rooms, Christian Anderson, Jabari Laws. Jabari Laws is my best friend still to this day. And it doesn't matter to me like who's in the game. Whoever coach is gonna put whoever gives us the best chance to win in the game, and it's bigger than you because at the end of the day you want to win, but you always have to be ready. So I think it's just bigger than you, and it's not about your accolades, it's not about your success, it's not about what you want, but it's just bigger than you. So I would tell myself that it's bigger than you.
On that same front, everybody wants to be the man.
Mm-hmm.
You want to play every snap if you had the opportunity. Just tell us about, have you come to realize that maybe not a reality, or it could become the reality? Is there a maturity that has to go with that?
So I think every day since we've been in camp, it's been a competition. Even last year with Christian Anderson, it's always competition, right? And obviously we have certain strengths and we have certain weaknesses, but any of us in the room, whether it's Jamel, whether it's me, whether it's Kay, we all have the potential to be an every down quarterback, and that's been discussion here. So all of us have the potential to be every down quarterback, but we all have the potential to rotate in, and we all know our strengths, our weaknesses, and our roles. But everybody right now is competing to be that guy. So we make each other better, and everybody has that ability and that potential.
Yeah. Let's shake off the freshman year. What is the comfort for you of being a third-year quarterback here?
It's like anything, repetitions make you better. And also like the trust and the locker room goes a long way. When your guys trust you and believe in you, it makes you a 10 times better player. But repetitions, I feel the game is slower. First time playing versus UTSA a couple years ago, everything was super fast, but the game is slower. The game is slowing down. Watch that film with Coach Worley. He's a mastermind of the game, so he gives me a great picture of throughout the week of what's going to happen before it happens. And 9 times out of 10, like I know what's going to happen before the play, especially on like option plays and replays. So just the game slowing down is like the biggest thing for me playing and this being my third year in this role.
Your last one for you. I know you're talking team, and Army's done well the last 2 years. You've gone to bowl games. So I want to ask you personally, are you satisfied with your career, and what else would you like to accomplish?
Definitely. There's always room for improvement. And me personally, I've never played a whole season due to injury, unfortunately. And I still have a lot personally that I want to prove to myself and just show the world. But my biggest thing right now is just bringing that CIC home. Not retaining it, not sharing it, but just bringing it home. I had, like I said, I had a lot of guys that I was real close to on last year's team: Cedric Cunningham, Jabari Laws, Caleb John, Julie McDuffie, and they didn't get the opportunity to get the CIC ring on their finger. So just winning the CIC and just bringing that home, that's my biggest goal. I know it's team, but I'm not a huge personal guy. Like I said, it's bigger than me before. So just winning that CIC is what I wanna end this year on.
But you did say just now that you wanted to prove something to yourself. Can
Yes,
you
sir.
elaborate?
Yes, sir. Just that I could, one, play like a whole season, just play the best of my ability. Like there's things that I need to work on. Coach Monken mentioned a few of those things that I've been working on. So just putting it all together, just putting it all together and just playing for my boys, playing for my team, and just getting that trophy back here.
Thanks, Tiger.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Zoom. We're all set.